I'm Brent Sellers. I'm an Extension Weed Specialist with the University of Florida IFAS, and I'm based at the Range Cattle Research and Education Center. Basic principles of weed management in pastures, really pasture management overall, as far as I'm concerned. So if you manage your pasture correctly, you can do a lot of prevention. Prevention of weeds encroaching the pasture, but also weed seed production, because weed seeds can last in the soil for up to 10, 20 years in some cases, sometimes longer. And then it's about grazing management, making sure you're not overgrazing the pastures. But a lot of times we still do have weed issues regardless of how well we do, right? So that's just the nature of the game. So then it's about correct weed identification. It's about, is there a herbicide that will control it, that won't damage the forage? And if it does damage the forage, what's the long-term impacts of that herbicide injury? And what's the next step? So how do you get over, why that weed came into the pasture? The first question is it really correctly identified, right? Yeah. So correct weed identification, and then it's not always about killing it. Maybe it's something that's actually beneficial to the whole ecosystem that we haven't even thought about. But if it is something that we need to get rid of, we need to look at more than just, how do we get rid of it right now? We need to look at how do we manage the pasture better so maybe we can prevent that weed encroachment in the future. Because obviously, we shouldn't say obviously, but most times what happens is some mismanagement occurred, whether it be lack of fertility, whether it be overgrazing. And sometimes we can't get past overgrazing just because of our forage systems that we have and our climate that we have. So a lot of times it does result from overgrazing, and sometimes we can't get past that. So in that case, herbicides might be the answer. But then after that, it's what's their long-term goals for that pasture? And then if they're rotating to different crops, are there nearby crop fields that we need to be worried about? A lot of places in the state, we don't have to worry about that. But when we get in more urban counties, you have to think about tomato production, vegetable production overall. And then up in the northern part of the state, we need to be thinking about cotton, peanut. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to think about, because not only a potential carryover with some products, but also drift and volatility of some products as well.